how are you able to shift someone else toward some kind of a profound expression of who they are if you have no idea who you are? In any vein, in any walk of life, in your profession, whether you're a music teacher or a mail carrier, if you want to help others to be the best that they can be in all of your interactions with them, it's important that you understand your own passions and curiosities and your own identity that you're selecting. I one time had a client who he was a dentist, and he was the unhappiest dentist I'd ever met. His parents were dentists, and in his conversation throughout childhood, there really was no option. It was anticipated and expected that he would become a dentist and take over the family practice and so on. He was in his late 30s. So what he was battling was depression, but he couldn't identify the source. He didn't know what was happening. So we went through the identity exercises until he was able to conclude once and for all he hated dentistry. But he had all these years of practice, all of this education. But what he really wanted to do was he wanted to work on computers. So the next journey was to shift him from being a dentist to being a computer hardware specialist. And it worked. Maybe he altered his lifestyle, maybe he altered his economics, but it didn't matter because the amount of happiness and joy more than compensated for any other resource that he had previously had. But it is remarkable how often we're wearing the clothing that somebody else put on us, whether it fits or not.
So the book that you have on the desk behind you is called Begin Here. It's got a big heart on the front of it. So this is where beginning with the heart is where you're beginning, where you're starting people off now.
The best way to describe this book, and if you can see, it says, "Discover love,
yes,
the foundation for all else." And it's self-love that is the foundation for all else. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you are in your journey or how much you love yourself, but when you pick that book up, you enter loving yourself at one level. And when you leave the book, you love yourself more. It's interesting because it wasn't the first book that I wrote either, but most people, they don't really actively seek on growing their self-love. Most people, when they're seeking to improve their journeys, they're focusing on something very external. You know, getting a different job, getting a different spouse, getting a different house. They're not focusing on the fact that the foundation for the different house and the different spouse and the different everything comes from growing self-love. So the reason it wasn't my first book in the series was because it was important to build an audience that would be willing to accept spending time with something as not interesting as self-love. But once they do read the book, the profundity of the stories of what they experience in their journey, it's just amazing. It's amazing to watch people love themselves.
So is this why you take the approach now that you're asking people to begin a process of loving themselves, finding love within their heart, rather than perhaps focusing on some other aspiration they may have about, I want to change my career, or I need more money, or any of these different aspirations? Do you generally now start people off with their heart?
That is where we always go. We always go to the core of who we are and how we feel about ourselves. What's interesting is very quickly people discover that when you grow your own unconditional love of yourself, then all of the things that you're perceiving in your journey to be in disharmony, they start to become harmonious. So even if we want to begin by, how do I make more money? How do I change my career? How do I move past this chronic illness? Or how do I have a better relationship with my children? We can start there. We can come up with all kinds of tools. We can come up with all kinds of understanding. But if we start at self-love, then all of the other disharmonies can reharmonize. One is the answer to all of them. And so it makes more sense to rebuild the foundation rather than starting with a loose brick that's high up in the building. Let's make sure we shore up the foundation first. And then we can build that building in any way that we want and as strong and tall and broad as we want it to be. But, we do live in a world where people perceive their ability to be happy based on their external circumstances. So those disharmonies that people experience in their relationships or their relationship with abundance or relationship with their bodies, those are the impetuses for people to come to me or to come to a program or a weekend or to come for coaching. I will rarely have a client that rings my doorbell and says, "Hi, I don't think I love myself enough. Do you think you might be able to help with that? Because I think it'll help me to be happier in every area of my life." But it doesn't matter what brings them there. The point is that their curiosity got them to ask the questions. And whomever they're seeking that can attune to some form of universal wisdom, whether they're doing it intuitively or without understanding where their source is coming from, then they'll benefit because each person that has that ability can help them to discover how important self-love is and how important unconditional love of exactly where you are in the moment is.
So when people begin to get in touch with the universal wisdom that is within them, would it be the case that they begin to find that there is a momentum in their life and perhaps an organizing power in their life that they'd never really imagined before, and that there is in some ways a particular mission, if you like, in people's life, or a particular way of living their life to be most creative, most fulfilling, loving, and so on, or would the universal wisdom regard people as having complete free will to do whatever they choose, but love is the foundation of all?
As I see the human experience, we are eternal beings, and what we bring to this journey with us is an intention, and that intention is powerful. I refer to it often as the soul's intent, and it's this idealistic property or conclusion or goal that we believe we can meet, and we really believe that we will meet it. We don't perceive before we leap into human form that the obstacles or earth amnesia are going to separate us from meeting that target. We have one primary soul's intent perhaps, but then we have a lot of little ones as well. And every one of those is centered around love. We are here to increase our ability to give and to receive love for ourselves and for others. Every time we grow in our ability to receive love, every time we grow someone else's ability to receive love or to give love, our vibrational energy increases. So this is the fuel that we all come with us into this life with. We all want to increase our ability to give and receive love and to help others increase their ability to give and receive love. That's all it's about, on earth or off earth. The infinite number of vehicles that any person can take to grow that, it's limitless. So in order to match your soul's intent, I ask people to really focus on what they are curious about, what they're passionate about, strip away all of those false ideas of what you need to do or what makes you a better person or more accepted, and follow the things that are making you happy. following your curiosity is what leads you to align with the vehicle of expression that can help you meet your soul's intent. It's the vehicle that can allow you to be passionate, to be fulfilled, to help yourself and others grow in your ability to give and receive love. I have a client who has a nail salon in Manhattan. It's not an easy path to have a nail salon in Manhattan. But as she described it, first she was really disappointed that she felt she hadn't done enough yet on earth because all she had was a nail salon. So she was judging that it lacked in spirituality or helping others to get to where they wanted to be. So we talked about it, and one thing very original about her space is that she has inspirational sayings all over. Her staff is trained to be kind and loving and caring. There's music on that's soothing. There are fragrances that are nice. Everything about the atmosphere is inviting. It's almost like the way when you feel when you lie down on the massage table and the massage is half done because of the smells and the scents and the warmth and the sounds. And so in her nail salon, maybe she's not saying, come here, get a manicure and enlightenment, but she's providing an ongoing place, an oasis, a place where people feel cared about, a place where people can be every week and have a reprieve from the normalcy of the bombardment of other types of people outside of that space. So there's no need to judge the level of inspiration that she's providing for her clients. It's to say that she loves nails. She knows that when some people have manicured nails or they look a certain way, it makes them feel more attractive or whatever it makes them feel. So why should there be a limit on external beauty as a pathway to some internal beauty as well? So the point is that could she have chosen another vehicle to help people feel better about themselves? Perhaps, but hers works because she's passionate about what it is that she does. So here we get back to judgment. You don't even have to judge how you perceive the quality of whatever vehicle you're using to help people grow in their ability to give or receive love. As long as you're passionate about it and you love yourself, then that quality is going to affect and touch the people that you come into contact with.